Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 153 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
I mean, briefly, mate. It's late at night.
Late at night? It's like 7:30. It was late at night to you.
Listen, when I have the little moon on the bottom of my windows, like, it's a moon. That means I should be sleeping at this point.
Mine's just a snowflake, so...
It gets dark at 5:15.
Yeah, that's when I should be going to bed, I feel like.
That's absurd.
No,
You're an absurd human.
But what I did get today was, so Disney Publicity was super duper awfully nice and sent me this care package for the holidays. Oh no, man. I was a little bent about not getting, a Disney Plus. What was that? Whatever that package they had was that looked kind of cool.
I saw a couple people posting about that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah.
I go month to month through a Hulu / Disney Plus thing, so I didn't get any prepaid package like that. But dude, they sent a pretty cool care package for that new Mickey and Minnie cartoon. I was pretty impressed.
Even though you hate it?
Didn't even watch it yet. No, not the Mickey shorts.
Oh, not the Mickey shorts. It's different.
No. The club Mickey Clubhouse one. The animation style.
Yeah.
So so that was good.
That's
cool. It was food. So who can't be food?
I'd be happy with some food, right?
Yeah, I like food.
Well, so you guys just heard it. That's how you bribe Damon is, food.
It's gotta be good Simple. Food though, like not garbage food. I don't go for garbage food.
Okay, well that's good to know. So can I that's always how I try to get you to be interested in the podcast too, is by putting food items on the.
Yeah, but if I can't eat it, I've been baking cookie cakes lately. So
I love cookies. So that's like my go-to.
Cookie cakes.
Yeah.
My son asked for one, and I was like, I can bake a cookie cake. But the big thing is that because we're recording this pre-Thanksgiving, even though it's not coming out till after Thanksgiving, I'm doing a pie cakein'. So let's see how that comes out.
Oh, I've seen those on the internet, like a pie within a cake within a pie, like
something like that. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we should introduce our guests.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, we should probably do that. So, we starting off, we have our old friend Derek here from DVC Resale Market, and it's been a while, Derek. So,
I'm just thrilled to be back on episode 153 as I put together an elaborate gift package for Damon.
Well, let's be honest. We tried to get DVC rental, but they pushed us off. So I guess we have to go with you guys for now.
Second choice. It's a holiday week. I don't know.
I was super. I got my second payment for my DVC rental rent. So
I know.
We have to wait to talk about that. Yeah,
I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got to get DVC rental on the next episode to talk about it. That's I haven't reached out about this yet, but I need to. So
yes, their gift baskets are fantastic too.
Hey, that's what I like to hear.
All right. Well, not only do we have Derek on, but we also have Sandra from Monera Financials, and this is the first time Sandra's joining us. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be talking about Monera and DVC, and I always called it a pake. I make a pie crust with a cake inside of it. Is that what we're talking about?
No, this is a full-blown pie inside a cake.
Inside wow. Pie.
Yeah, I'm going cherry pie inside a dark chocolate cake.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see how it comes out.
Wow, that sounds fantastic.
Wait, so Sandra hasn't listened to any of the old episodes, right, about my ramblings on financing, so I should just kind of put myself on mute.
This is the day that you get turned around, Damon. This is it.
I already bought, though. I'm done. I'm done. There's no way I ever buy more points at this point.
No, you're done. Come on, it's Thanksgiving.
Never say never. Come on.
Wait, hold on. How many points does Tom have again?
310, I think.
Oh yeah, then I'm definitely done.
You finally beat me. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm at 430.
Hey, but are you including your parents' points though? Like, I don't.
Last time I checked, I'm on that contract. So yes, I am, my friend.
He's counting every point.
Yeah, he just had to be. I think he just bought another contract just so he could have more points than me. I think that's what happened.
It is possible. It is very possible that's exactly the reason why.
I don't even need the amount of points that I have. So
I will tell you though. The 2-bedroom has been a total game changer for me. So I definitely needed the points after that 2-bedroom. And I feel like even as, my kids go to college, what's going to happen is they're going to start wanting to bring people.
Bingo.
And that's why a 2-bedroom, it has to be a 2-bedroom. Because, like, you can walk around and all of a sudden be like, oh, wow, I guess I should put on pants, like when it's your family, but not when, people are bringing people.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The pant rule for a 2-bedroom.
Absolutely.
That's why you get a 2-bedroom, right? Yeah, that's the reason.
The memes for this week are going to be terrible.
We're only 5 minutes in.
Jeremy's head just exploded. He's like, okay, pantless Damon. Let me do this one. Yeah. 2-bedroom.
The best part is he doesn't have an actual picture of Damon, so he just always uses the picture of Damon's puppet.
Puppet. The puppet is my favorite.
Yeah, the puppet. Poor Jeffrey. So anyway, we brought you on. I want to talk, Derek, about just kind of like, we haven't talked about DVC resale in a while, right? Like, so I don't know if we want to just even go through for like, because we have a lot of new listeners, right? So even just the past year, like a lot of new people have joined us. So I don't know if maybe you want to give your couple minute, I don't want to say pitch, but like your explanation of like what the buying and selling process looks like, and tell us a little bit about that. And I would love to hear how Monera fits into that too.
Yeah, no, we'd love to do that. Like I said, my name, and we're a proud partner of this show for many years ago. So we love teaming up because you guys have such a very smart and educated audience. So when they do reach out to us at the DVC resale market, they've always got just really great questions. Because again, research is key. I mean, I was lucky enough.
I have to interrupt you for a second, Derek. Do we have a drop down in there as well? Because the one thing I have to say, like when I went to go rent my points, and it's like, where did you hear about us? And it was like, oh, there's a drop down with us in it. Like that was impressive. Is there a drop down in
on DVC resale?
No, we need to add that drop down because we've always asked your listeners to put it in the comment section. Okay. And so they've always said, hey, we heard you from Welcome Home. We've heard blah, blah, blah from Welcome Home. So that's how we've always done it. But
I love the drop down.
I think you guys are definitely worthy enough of a dedicated drop down box, I think, at this point.
Okay.
Well, and I just realized, Derek, that I meant to have you introduce yourself and talk about your Disney background and all that stuff, and Sandra too. So No. We that's just one of the things what makes us so special, just being at the DVC resale market, just the number one resale company by far in the whole entire world. Shameless plug. But it's because we're all former Disney people, right? So, I mean, I worked for Disney for, 20 years. I've been a Disney Vacation Club member since the late 90s when I bought the BoardWalk. So I've sold direct for Disney for many, many years. I've sold DVC on the cruise ships all over the whole entire world, and then was blessed enough to join this team with Nick and Marissa and so many other fabulous people here about 3 years ago is when I joined this team. So to be able to, I think what's great about it too is that research is key. It's just when folks do research is where they wind up coming to us. So when you look at Disney Vacation Club for the first time and you're like, oh, I'm down in the parks, I'm going to go sign up for a tour. Obviously they want you to buy direct. What they really don't want you to do is do research, because when you start to do research, you'll discover, oh, there's a resale market. And what are the differences in the resale market? Like, oh my God, I could pick the resort that I need and I could save, 20, 30, 40, 50%. So research really comes in handy. And that's why shows like yours have just educated people so much. And especially now that we're for the last year or so, we're under one big, giant, fantastic, synergistic umbrella called the World of DVC, where folks can, with us, they can obviously purchase a vacation club membership, but we have a fantastic partner, which I know Damon knows very well, our DVC rental store. So if you wanted to try before you buy, or if you're a member that's looking to, maybe have some extra points that I want to rent out for some cash. And then how do I pay for all this magic? Well, we have a fantastic financing partner with Monera Financial, which we're awesome to have my good friend Sandra on to be able to talk to folks about it as well. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have cash for it, you say, this is great, I definitely want to do it, but how am I going to pay for it? So for us to have a partner like Monera is just awesome. So we're thrilled. I have to say it's very Disney of you guys to have all this synergy going on. Right? It really is kind of crazy. Like, and Sandra can attest because she's been with Monera for a super long time. just to see it and just to have people come, because those are the questions that we get, right? Is, unless someone's ready to buy, perfect. But a lot of people are like, hey, is there a way I can maybe like rent points? I just want to try it to see if I like the membership. And then of course there's always that age old question of, again, I love it. How do I pay for it? So that's where folks like Sandra come in, which is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've been with Monera for over 7 years now, almost as long as Monera's been alive. And it's been a great experience. Unlike Derek, though, I am one of the very few people who don't have necessarily a Disney background. I have a background in actually interior design and graphic design. And so I actually was...
Wait, did you do the World of Disney logo?
No, I did not.
Sandra, just say yes.
Just lie. We wouldn't know.
Just lie.
Yes. I thought of it, and then somebody else just put it on, pen to paper.
There you go.
I have done some of the logo work and some graphic work and stuff in the past for us, and it's been a lot of fun. But one of the neat things that I get to do is when I first started, I really dove into learning all this about DVC and what it means to be a member, what it means to rent points, what it means to just experience that with your family, some for the first time. And so I have been able to learn and grow and figure out these things so that when I talk to people, because even though we're the finance company, we have a lot of people who ask us a lot of questions about our experiences and what resorts we like to go to and all of those things. I've actually been able to kind of talk to a lot of people who are exploring this for the first time and walk them through what that feels like knowing. I've been a fan of Disney my entire life. I remember growing up watching The Wonderful World of Disney with my family and doing all of the different things, having my ears when I was a little girl. And we did so much that centered around Disney and now Star Wars and all of those great things and stuff. But being able to talk through what it's like to explore and learn about DVC for the first time has been a lot of fun to connect with a lot of our people who really don't know that and be able to give insight from that perspective, and just kind of offer another side of things, along with Derek and Marissa and all those who have worked with Disney for so many years. And it's been a lot of fun to really learn from them and gain much more knowledge than I ever even knew possible about DVC. It's so much fun. I enjoy it.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you could join the circus. And by the circus, I mean here, this show. So
I was going to say, wow, you really do know us, Tom.
I was going to say, I would never have questioned what you meant.
This is why we get along so well, though, because we're a circus. You guys are a circus. We recognize this. So.
Yeah, it's the same vibe, I think, on either side.
Yep, pretty much. All right. So Derek, you want to talk a little bit about just kind of like buying and selling? I mean, how easy it is to do. I mean, you don't have to go through the tiny little minutia, but just I think give people a general idea. Because like I said, we do have some new listeners and we do have some people that just don't know the process, right? Like they don't know how all this works. So.
Yeah. And again, that's what's key. And I hate saying that word over and over again, but it's true is, research. And again, we want to stress too, that when you have questions and go on our website. So just the dvcresalemarket.com. The website's awesome. Like, I'm not just saying that, but that thing is fantastic. It's got everything. If you're someone looking to buy, we've got blogs and we have average selling prices and we have actually, tutorials on, okay, I'm learning about this club. How does it actually work? We've got everything on our site. And most importantly is we have our team, right? So our team is, again, what we strive on is, we're giving you that Disney service, but without the Disney direct prices. So when you have questions, don't ever feel like you have to go on the website. And if I call somebody and I have a question that I have to buy that day, no, just call with your laundry list of questions, because as simple as this club is, and any member will tell you, at the end of the day, it's a very simple club, but you need to do your research on it, right? So that's where when you start looking into it, okay, do I want to buy direct. Odds are a lot of people that we talk to might have, talked to a Disney Vacation Club person in the park, or maybe they took a tour, or maybe they have a friend that has the ownership. And then, of course, the big question comes up and says, so what's the difference? So I don't get it. I'm kind of doing research here, and I could buy direct from Disney for like $200 a point, but it looks like I could buy, stuff from you guys, even resorts that Disney doesn't necessarily make available, for, 20, 30, 40, 50% less. So that's where you want to go on our website and you want to talk to us. Because again, there are going to be differences in buying direct than it is if you go ahead and buy resale. But again, when it comes to research, is we always want to stress to people, when you start doing your research, you're going to realize the importance of a home resort, right? So what does that even mean? I have to buy a resort, but can I only stay at that resort? And what your priority booking windows come down to be. I could book 11 months here, 7 months there. Those are really the main things that we just want to kind of stress to people, is that when it comes to picking your resort, you don't have to just buy the new current $200 plus per point that Disney Vacation Club wants you to buy direct, because they'll put the fear of God into you that, you don't get a blue member card and you don't get any of the discounts and whatnot. It's when people start to do, again, research, they look and say, well, God, I love the beach club, or I love the BoardWalk, or I love the Grand Floridian. So, would it maybe make more sense for me to pick that as a home resort? So that, again, when you're a buyer, we've got such a fantastic user-friendly website. And when you're a seller too, right? So again, know that buying or selling, the process is not instantaneous, right? It's still going to take, whether you're buying, you're probably going to take 60 to 80 days for your contract to close. Likewise, if you're a seller, it's going to take, 60 to 80 days for you to close. And then a couple weeks after that, you'll get paid. So the process could be a little bit longer. But again, what's great is if you're a seller, reach out to us now. Now's the time. I'm making a heartfelt, urgent plea. Now is the time for you to list, because right now, the 2022 annual dues for any member out there, they're online. They haven't been quote unquote ratified yet, but they will be in just a couple weeks. Then every owner is going to get their annual due bill for 2022. And a lot of times people will look and go, okay, that's it. I'm done. I don't want another year of having to pay the annual dues. So we start to get flooded with sellers. So what that means is, if you're a seller, get listed now, just because the competition is going to be a lot less for you, right? So you're not fighting over and trying to, have your listing stand out with 50 other similar Bay Lake Tower listings. Get out now before we get flooded with listings, because it is that time of year where Disney Vacation Club delivers the 2022 dues. And for some members, that's kind of their, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to sell. And buyers love it because they'll have more to be able to pick and choose from. So again, visit the site, reach out to us with questions. You guys can email me directly. If you ever want to just email me with 1,000 questions, just say, hey, I heard you on the Welcome Home show again. It's just Derek, DEREK, at DVCResaleMarket.com. You can call us, shoot me an email with any questions if you're a buyer, seller, because again, the more questions, the better. We welcome and love questions.
You can also harass Derek in our Facebook group too.
Yeah. I'm very harassable, as many people can.
He'll answer all your questions. So
answer all your questions. Harass me. It's fun.
All right. So do we want to get into just some listener questions here? We got a bunch of listener questions. So, Trevor, I don't know if you want to read the first one here, but we can go forward here and start reading some of these and answering them. I added a couple at the end. I think Trevor added one. So we got questions too.
So actually, we'll start with Cindy's question here, and this one's for you, Sandra. I think, it's very directed at Monera. She says, "I'd love to hear more about the new options that Monera has been rolling out." So, what is she talking about there?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just kind of want to go back to the question about just Monera in general. And one of the things that makes us stand out is the fact that we have so many options. In fact, we have all the options available that we actually can say that we'll finance for any contract. Anyone will be approved. So anyone's approved. It's just a matter of figuring out what the options are available to to really meet your budget needs as well as your contract needs. So, you talk to DVC resale market and you find that contract that's going to fit your family needs and everything that you need as far as points and use year and resort, home resort, all of those things. But then we are able to sit down and talk through several different options available to really find what's going to fit your budget. And so what Cindy's asking about is we have over the last several months rolled out several different things to expand our options available for everyone. And it started out with credit check. We were always a finance company that did no credit checks. And we still are. We still offer that option to anyone available. So if you don't want a hard hit on your credit, then we will find options available for you, which makes us unique from anyone else, including Disney. So many times I hear Derek or one of the other resale market brokers talk about how it was so hard to do pull someone's credit and then have to tell them that they didn't qualify for financing. It was so heartbreaking.
The worst.
So here we came along and we have this opportunity to be able to say, yeah, we'll finance you. You'll be approved. You can get this contract. So we offer that option. But then we added this this credit check option that allows people who do have good credit, 600 or above, to be able to get lower down payments, lower interest rates, and be able to finance even more of the contract because of their credit. So that was the first option that we rolled out. Then we decided to expand it a little bit further to help people with their monthly payments. And we now offer 12-year terms. So you can take a loan out for 12-year terms and get the low monthly payments that allows you. But we also do no prepayment penalties. So even if you choose to go with a 12-year term, you get a low monthly payment of around, maybe $100 or whatever, depending on the contract. You can make payments. Say your monthly payments are $100. You actually can pay $200 or $150, whatever your budget allows. And all of that extra automatically goes to the principal balance. So you'll actually pay it down faster. You'll pay less interest over time by doing that. But the benefit of going with the 12-year term, it means that you can, lock yourself into that low $100 payment. And that way, if, let's say your car breaks down and that month you need to put that extra $50 or $100 towards repairing your car, you have that freedom. But if you went with a shorter term and you were locked into that $200 monthly payment, then you don't have as much freedom to play around with. So we expanded our terms to give the option for people to get lower monthly payments, but yet have the freedom to pay whatever their budget allows. So then we decided to, get more crazy, and we used to only finance for Florida resorts. So if you were buying Alani or Hilton Head or Grand Californian, we were unable to finance for those. But just recently, we have expanded outside of Florida, and we are now financing for all of the resorts. So anybody who wants to buy at any of the resorts and any of the new ones that come along, we will be able to offer any financing options for those as well. And that then kind of leads me to my whole hope to get Damon on board with financing is...
Wasn't your thing the credit checks, Damon? Wasn't it always about the credit check?
No. It's about the zero down.
The zero down?
Yeah, like I want to roll into a contract and not have to put anything down. That's always been my gripe to Derek.
I see. Well, let me say this. So you already own, and you own them outright, correct?
No, I just bought Riviera.
Okay.
Yeah, so I own some outright, and I still have some that I'm paying on.
Well, here's a great option for you. We offer cash out refinance. And so what we do is we have people who maybe own, they bought Grand Floridian when it first came out, and now they want to add on some points. They want to get a new contract. So we can actually look at that Grand Floridian one and do a cash out refi to where they actually would get enough cash to pay for the new one with all of that cash and not have to pay anything out of pocket.
Where was Derek when I was going through this? Derek.
You mean, where was Sandra?
Yeah, Sandra. Yeah. Sandra.
Where was Sandra? You want to talk to the smart one. You don't want to talk to me.
No, Monera is very excited. We're actually in December, we're going to roll out a refinance campaign where we really want to highlight this option of cash out refinance. It's Christmas time. You want to get some cash for Christmas, or if you want to, depending on the timing or anything, we can maybe help you pay the credit card bill in January with that cash out refi. But we're actually, if you fill out a quote on our website, monerafinancial.com, during December 1st through December 21st, we're actually going to do a $200 discount off the closing costs for that to help you out. And right now we're looking at probably a window of turnaround of about 2 to 4 weeks. So really you can get that turned around and work it out with the title company to be able to get that money fairly quickly to be able to do that. Or as Derek mentioned earlier, it's about time for those annual dues to start coming due. And so there's even an option to do that to help pay for your annual dues.
So can you walk us through a little bit of the cash refi, like how that would impact, let's say, someone that owns a current contract at Saratoga fully paid and wants to buy new Riviera but doesn't want to put any money down with Monera? Like, just walk us through that, because I think a lot of people understand that as an option for a fixed asset like a home. Mm-hmm. But if you wouldn't mind just, like I said, taking that scenario and just kind of walking us through that whole process, would they need to come out of pocket for anything at that point? Or, how would that all work?
Sure, absolutely. Now, a couple of things to just to start the conversation regarding that is it really depends on what contract you're looking at purchasing. And it depends on what you own. So if you owned a Saratoga Springs 200-point membership mm-hmm. and you didn't owe anything on it, yep. Right now, we could finance, let me do my math here, get all this correct. So you don't owe anything on it currently. We would be able to finance a loan of $21,780. The closing costs would be paid out of that, mm-hmm. and you would be left with proceeds of about $20,800.
Okay.
And then you can use that then to purchase your new contract. And you wouldn't have to pay anything out of pocket as long as all of the, everything, the purchase price and all the closing costs and everything are under that $20,800.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense.
So that's when Derek steps in and says, well, I've got this great contract that would be just about this amount and fit your...
Sandra seamlessly hands over that baton to me and then we take over. Yes, we're...
Corporate synergy. This is the synergy that's going on here. This feels like Eisner Disney going on right now.
Would you sell me a Vero contract? Like, would that even be worth it?
Sandra, I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, because again, it really goes back to what you own. And Vero, we sell a lot of Vero. It certainly has its appeal to be able to stay there. I know you're going to stay there shortly, and you will soon fall under the spell of the magic of Vero Beach. You just may not feel the need that I actually have to own points there and pay the dues that are associated with Vero.
Yeah, that's the key. It's the dues are so much at Vero. So a lot of times, unless that's where you want to stay all the time and you want that 11-month booking window, we usually talk to people about, maybe getting a Saratoga Springs contract or another one that the annual dues aren't so high.
Do you ever really need an 11-month window there, though?
If you want certain times of the year, 4th of July, Christmas week is really busy there. And if you want one of those beach cottages. then the beach cottages come into very, very handy to be able to own 11 months out there. Normally, it's not an issue, even if because I don't own Vero and we go there several times a year, but we're usually booking, 6 months out, 5 months out. And we usually get a room in the inn because I prefer the inn rooms versus the studio rooms. So yeah, it's normally not a problem.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, though, that we can start buying contracts with no money down. I like to hear that. But you have to own one first, though, right? You got to own something else first. You have to own another contract first, really, to make that happen, though.
Yes. In order for that to happen, you definitely have to have another contract that you either own outright or have a very, a loan that you have a lot of equity into to be able to do that. But, if you own one and you have a loan on it, you still can do a cash out refi and help pay for the closing costs and pay some of it down. And then you can take another loan because we offer the option to have more than one loan with Monera. Then you can pay, you can take a loan if you're buying a Riviera and you own a Saratoga Springs, but the Saratoga Springs isn't going to be enough to pay for it fully, you can refi the Saratoga Springs and get whatever cash you can to help pay for those closing costs and then refinance the Riviera for whatever you want to on that one. And then you end up paying no cash. You just have then 2 loans with 2 monthly payments.
So what do you normally see if, all things being equal, floating around that 700, credit score in terms of your loan percentages, percentage points versus what Disney offers? I'm assuming that you guys are always going to be lower, but is there some sort of gauge that you can use for people that are making that decision, as a little bit of a generalization, not anything we hold you to kind of as things change, but, what does that mean to people? Like in terms of, hey, this is the savings because, we're X amount of percentage points lower most of the time, or, things like that. Cause I'm assuming that's kind of where this all comes into play because, Disney does make things really easy, but to make things easy, they have to, take their point somewhere.
Absolutely. So with the credit check, you're actually getting interest rates that are anywhere from 9.9 to 12.9 with 700 or more credit score. So you're getting those low interest rates, which then lowers those monthly payments and saves you on interest. And because right now, I believe Disney is at, you could be looking at 17.9% or, significantly higher interest. So you're going to save by buying on the resale market in general, as Derek has explained. But then you're also going to get lower interest rates with the resale financing as well. So you're able to save there, but we also offer that no credit check option that Disney does not offer. And so even if you have great credit, there are times where that no credit check option is better because you can still, if you want a 9.9% interest rate, but you have money to put down and do a significantly lower loan, if you're able to pay a larger down payment, you can get those low interest rates without having any hit to your credit.
Well, and I think that's a big deal because I know that one of the reasons why I was kind of holding off was when I was moving into my house, right? Like we were building a house. There was a lot, and we were not holding a builder loan. It was an interesting situation. But we couldn't really do any credit checks. Like we're like, oh, we should, switch our cars out. Nope, can't do that. Oh, let's buy nope, can't do that. I think that for some people that as an option, especially if they're going through a house purchase, and sometimes people will be going through a house purchase, maybe have sold another house, so they will have that extra money available, but they just can't take that credit hit, but they need to finance some of that. So I think that's a great option to have.
Absolutely. We have so many times people ask that question because they're refinancing a house or they're purchasing a new house. Is this going to show up on my credit report? Mm-hmm. And the answer is absolutely not. We also have people who will purchase and, it might be mom's purchasing it and her son who's, in his early 20s is purchasing with him or with her. And then, this way it doesn't start him off with, credit on, something on his credit report as he's trying to build a credit. And so it helps with, if you want to buy with multi-generational or anything like that, then you're not starting off your kids with, this credit score or anything that has stuff on the credit report right away. They're able to just own this and enjoy it and be able to use it without that.
This has been way more interesting than I anticipated. I like this. Yeah. This has been great. I think everyone's going to be like, talking so much.
I have to say, Sandra, when you mentioned about the fact that you're starting to finance West Coast and Alani, you definitely piqued my interest as well, because I am going to be looking at getting some West Coast points when the new Disneyland DVC resort opens up. So I may be talking to you, not right away, but probably in the next couple of years when we start looking at that.
And if Trevor gets more points than me, you have to let me know, because I'll buy a contract as well.
Don't tell Damon anything at all. It's none of his business.
Right. I've got a big board in my office, a big dry erase board.
Right. I should have just lied to him and told him I had more than I had. That's just make him spend an extra $20,000 just for no reason. Sorry.
Now, in regards to that the new one, in California, that we only finance the resale. So you will have to wait a little bit of time for it to come on the resale market, and then we'll start financing those, and we'll definitely be able to talk through all the options at that time. But Alani, we can do that today if you want.
Yeah, I may not necessarily be looking at the new resort. I'm looking at when it opens, but I may consider Grand Californian depending on how things go as well. So
sure, absolutely, yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. We still got a lot of questions though.
Yeah,
I don't understand Chris's question, but I saw that Derek put a laughing reaction to it, so I'm guessing Derek understands what this question means. Chris wants to know what lamp is his holy grail of DVC lamps. Is this a reference to something I don't know about?
Yes, there was many moons ago. I happened to be talking about lamps, and we're talking about what is your favorite Disney Vacation Club resort, and I said the Polynesian. And so as a prop, I brought in a lamp from the Polynesian that I purchased, because you could actually purchase the lamp in the rooms from the Polynesian. So I saw it in the gift shop. It wasn't cheap, but it's beautiful. I love it. It's in my house. So I brought it up and I said, yeah, you know what? I love the Poly. They got beautiful rooms and beautiful lamps, and I did pay for this lamp. I didn't steal it. For some reason, it just took on a life of its own, that I go around to all the Disney Vacation Club resorts, and I steal lamps and then bring them back to my house.
All right.
So that's I'm known as
a channel on TikTok, if you did such a thing, that would far surpass anything that any of us have ever seen.
Yeah. So I do love my lamps, and I love my Polynesian lamp is my favorite. So Chris, I'm definitely going with my Polynesian lamp, which is funny because I have a picture, because we set up our Christmas a couple weeks ago here in the house. And so I had the little tiny wooden nativity set was set up, and for somehow it wound up like right next to the Polynesian lamp. And if you've ever seen the Poly lamp, it's got that Polynesian figure, that wooden kind of a guy. Yeah. And he's literally like just towering over my nativity set. It kind of freaked me out at first. I was like, I think we may have to move the lamp away, because this is kind of creepy. But yeah, Poly all the way, Chris. Best lamp on property.
Trevor's got, he has, the one you could buy in the gift shop. And then what was the one you got from like the 70s?
That was before the refurb of the Poly, that one that we got earlier this year. So sorry, Derek, I kind of one-upped you on that, is that I actually have two Poly lamps, different ones. Yeah.
Got one off of eBay that was from a long time ago.
I'll dig out a picture and send it.
I was just going to say, will you please send me a picture so I can make it my new iPhone wallpaper, and I'll just stare at it.
You need to make a Facebook group or a Facebook page, the lamps of DVC.
Yeah, right.
Where you just put like pictures of lamps.
There'll be like 3 creepy people in it.
I'm still waiting for Derek's guided tour through the DVC lamps. I just think,
It's like a museum here.
It's like history behind each of the lamps.
Book. It should be Kramer's lamp book. That's what it would need to be.
Yeah. Lamp book. All right. Trevor, you want to ask this next one from John?
Yeah. John says, if an existing DVC member adds points via resale, are those points subject to the restrictions, or do they get grandfathered in with the existing points?
They are subject to the restrictions, John. It's a great question, one we're asked all the time. But any points purchased now are subject to the restrictions. So your old points are all grandfathered in. You probably already have maybe even one of those, soon to be collector item blue cards. But yes, those points are not. Those are grandfathered in. So again, we still have a ton of people that bought before any resale restrictions, right? So they use their points if they want, not a good use, but on cruises or at Disney hotels because they're not. So everything that once you're in, that's what we always tell people, dude, just get in. Just get in before Disney decides to, who knows what they're going to do. But just get in, because once you're in, they can't go back and change anything. So right now, if you bought some new points.
See, you keep saying, everyone keeps saying that, but I'm sure they could if they really wanted to.
They can't. Or they would have honestly done it forever ago. I
have to imagine legally, though, they have the ability to.
I don't think they do. I mean, we've got some friends in Disney legal that, we've talked to over the years about it. And again, every impression that we have is, believe me, if they could have done this, that would have been the first, shot over the bow would be, hey, because the one we always get is, so is it true that if I buy resale, I can only stay at the resort that I buy? So meaning if I buy a resale Vero contract, I can only stay at Vero. So there's so much not misinformation out there. There's just a lot of stuff. And you're like, no, that's not the case. You've got the 14 original DVC resorts. If you buy Riviera, which again was Disney firing another shot towards the resale market saying, okay, so if you buy a Riviera resale, you could only use those points to stay at Riviera. But our points, which is an important point to note, you can stay at all 14 of the original Disney Vacation Club resorts, including, like we just talked about, Aulani and the Grand Californian and Hilton Head and Vero Beach, all of those. But Riviera resale, only at Riviera. That's it, ever.
All right. Well, we got a question from Blake from our Discord channel. From everything I've read, it's been a seller's market for the past 5 to 6 months. Any speculation on when the pendulum will swing back the other way to be a buyer's market? I feel like it's been a seller's market for quite a while now, right, Derek? Or am I wrong about that?
No, it feels like it had. Yeah, I mean, there was a while where we were running so low on listings several months ago. I mean, we were flying through so many listings that we couldn't keep them in. It's almost that equivalent of like having a swimming pool that you've got the hose and you're filling up, but the water's still draining. So you're trying to get it. And we get 50 new listings in a week, 75, 100 listings, and they would all sell. It's now starting to taper up. I wouldn't necessarily, even right now, I wouldn't call it a buyer's market. I call it maybe a temporary buyer's market. Because as I mentioned kind of up front, now's the time when over the next few weeks, when the dues come out is when we normally get a lot of sellers. We get a lot of people that are submitting, going on the website saying, I think I want to sell. Can you walk me through the process? So we start to get hit much more on a daily basis right around now through, the first part of the year. So I would always just stress to people, if you see a listing you like, don't wait for that. Oh, it's going to turn into a buyer's market again. Because there's people that said that 12 months ago that are paying $20 to $30 more a point for certain resorts. Sandra can attest. I mean, there's some resorts that, again, you could go on our website and look to say, there was people that said, I'm going to wait. The market's going to fall. The market's going to crash and COVID and everything else. Some of those resorts are up, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40 per point. So they wind up buying and just spending thousands of dollars more versus saying, God, I wish I just would have got started with something versus waiting for whatever's going to happen to the market.
So you're saying we're in a buyer's market now, or
I would say a temporary, maybe a little bit of a temporary buyer's market, just because we're getting more and more listings versus a few months ago, it was literally we were running out of listings. So it would be, we'd have a 200-point Saratoga that would sell in a day, versus saying, oh, there's 5 or 6 to pick from. Because at the end of the day, when you're a buyer, and that's what we always stress to sellers, you don't want to overprice yourself, because this is not buying a house. This is not, there's one house that's on the corner, and I have to have that house because it's perfect. It's right next to my kid's school and blah, blah, blah. It's just a point. So if someone's looking for around 200 points, if they don't like the price on one, they'll just keep scrolling and say, oh, look, I found one for 190 points or 195 points or 180 points. So the more choices you have is just necessarily what makes it kind of more quote unquote buyer's market, just because there's more to pick from.
One of the great things too, on Monera, we have on our website, we have a blog post that Amy put on there a few months ago that actually talks about how she actually purchased and financed a purchase on the resale market. And because she purchased it at the time she did, the amount of interest she paid by paying it off early, she actually saved money. She paid less in interest than she would have if she waited over the time, because the purchase prices have gone up. She actually ended up saving by financing it and buying it now versus waiting for hopefully the market to go down. As Derek said, it just keeps going up. And so there is actually another step in if you want to get in now, but you're not sure if you can afford it. She wrote this great blog post on her own experience, how she ended up saving money by financing one and buying it when she did versus waiting to pay for it with cash. So there's lots of options or opportunities out there that I didn't even think of that. I thought it was a brilliant post by Amy.
We'll take a look at that. Thanks for talking about that. Trevor, you want to do the next one here from Becky?
Yeah. So Becky,
Derek's good friend Becky.
Becky.
Yeah. So she asked, is DVC resale market still seeing BoardWalk contracts go quickly, even with the expiration date being so much sooner than the other resorts? And then she goes on to say the resort ruined me. I don't know what that means, but
I'm guessing it means that it ruined her from all other resorts. Like she just stayed there and it was like she couldn't stay anywhere else, right?
Once you've been to that resort and on that back patio and had a couple of beers with Derek, you realize and say, I can't stay anywhere else. I have to stay here from now on. No, we get asked that question a lot, Beck, which is a great question, especially for folks that have stayed at the BoardWalk. They know it's not necessarily the easiest resort to get into if you don't own there. BoardWalk still sells like crazy. I mean, honest to God, if we get let's say 100 point or less BoardWalk listing, that thing is going to be gone within hours, if not minutes, just because for people that are starting off, they maybe want to start off with a small package, and most importantly, owners that want to add points and say, hey, I just want like 100 points. So every other year I've got 200 to book the BoardWalk for Food and Wine Festival or Flower and Garden Festival, or when is there not a festival at Epcot?
Whatever festival.
Yeah. There's no festival. So that's what makes it so popular. So regardless of 2042, same with the Beach Club. People that love those resorts, they don't care about 2042. They want to spend the next 20 plus years of vacations being happy and not bummed out and sad at 7 months out because they can't get what they want at those resorts.
Related question, Derek. So I'm going to skip ahead here because this was one of my questions. What are your thoughts on Disney offering direct purchase incentives for some of those older resorts? I think it was Beach Club that people were getting an email, but I can't remember if it was Beach Club or BoardWalk. But they were doing incentives on, and I was like, "What? That's weird."
It was crazy. They've done so much stuff where I've like shaken my head. And again, because we were there for a long time, like 20 years. And so just the fact that they were actually, reaching out to members, proactively and saying, hey, have you thought about selling your old Key West contract? Because we'll buy it back for you for like $80 a point, which is just, it's crazy. Was just crazy. It was craziness. I mean, they probably helped us a lot more because then people did research and then they wound up listing with us and selling it for $120 a point. Yeah. To offer a discount on a sold out property is incredibly rare, because we used to sell sold out properties when we worked direct for Disney, and they still do. It's just not something that they actively go after, right? So if you're taking a tour, they're not going to say, hey, welcome to Riviera, and if you like the BoardWalk, we've also got that for sale, because they want to keep your options as few as possible, right? Because they don't want that to cloud any sort of decision making that guest and that family sitting in front of them on vacation, if you give them 6 or 7 resorts to pick from, they're just going to say, I don't know. I'll go home and I'll give you a call after I get back home. And then they don't buy. So they want to keep it as clean as possible. So I think it's primarily for probably members that want to add points. But yeah, to have any sort of a discount for the BoardWalk, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me see how much Disney sells the BoardWalk for directly. It's quite...
Yeah. I'm going to guess even with the incentives they were giving, it was still more expensive than buying resale.
It's right? Like now they sell at $210 a point, right? So the average for us is around like $135.
Yeah,
so even if you're given a $10 discount or a $15 discount, you buy a 200-point package with us, you're saving a ton of money. And again, that's where, I hate to say the R word, but that's where research is, because you can go on our site, you can literally go to it and see all the direct prices currently, all the resale prices currently, how much of a difference is it? There's some resorts where it's, $50 less a point, then there's some resorts that are like $80 less per point in buying with us. So to offer a discount on a BoardWalk, especially on a 2042 property, that was a little eyebrow raising, but then again, my eyebrows have been raised plenty by Disney in 2021. So,
I just thought that was interesting that they were doing that. So, thanks for giving some insight on that, Derek. That was great. Trevor, you want to do Francisco's? I guess here. I think that's what we're on, right?
Yeah. Geez, Francisco wrote a novel here, though.
I mean, you could sum it up and then get to the question.
Oh geez, I don't even know how to sum this up. So basically he's saying with more visits, he's feeling that some deluxe resorts are no longer in the deluxe category, and many of the older resorts are starting to see much more wear and tear, and they're not providing some of the amenities that he normally found in them, specifically with DVC. He goes on to ask, have you heard other guests mentioning anything like this? Like, I guess, do you guys hear any feedback from people staying at resorts over time?
I mean, Sandra can maybe talk if she's heard anything. I've heard, if anything, it's just basically, it's like anything, it's going to be resort specific. So, the big one is always, Boulder Ridge. When is Boulder Ridge going to be rehabbed? I was there 2 years ago, and that place was in dire need of a rehab. But when Disney does do rehabs, like, I could not imagine a more positive response than when they rehabbed Saratoga Springs. That response from everybody that has stayed in those rooms, people that swore I would never stay in Saratoga, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. They go there and loved it. So when they do a rehab, I mean, it's fantastic. Even the new poly rooms, I can't wait to stay in them. I think it's like anything, Francisco, it's going to be resort specific. So even when they changed Old Key West a few years ago and put in different flooring, some people were like, oh, I miss the old flooring. So it's Disney. So if you change anything, people tend to be like, I miss when it was XXX. I have noticed, though, on my last day, and I can't remember where it was, Francisco, but you're 100% right. I didn't have a vacuum cleaner. So something happened where I wanted to vacuum, and I was like, hey, where's the vacuum cleaner? And I did have to call for a vacuum. I always thought that they came with vacuum cleaners, but
I never noticed there being a vacuum cleaner ever. So thirdly, I guess secondly, I wouldn't ever think to vacuum on vacation. This is like the conversation we had with Chad about baking cookies in the room. It's like, I don't want to do any of that on vacation. I want to buy my cookies, and I don't want someone else to vacuum for me. Is that terrible? I'm on vacation.
It was a bag of Dorito mishap from one of my children. So I was just basically trying to rectify the situation as fast as possible.
You mean you don't want to walk?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it just depends on your situation too, because if you've got young kids, then maybe a vacuum might be a little bit more important because, there's mishaps and spills and things like that and stuff. But I also have never noticed vacuums there or not there because it's not on my priority of when I'm on vacation to vacuum, because I do enough of that at home I have 2 dogs and they're very, shedding. And so we vacuum enough, but things like a high chair or something like that, you might notice things like that depending on your family situation. Sure. We definitely hear lots of positives on the refurbs and stuff like that, but I don't know that we've heard much at Monera about the feedback on what's missing.
It's interesting because when I own at Bay Lake, right, and the first time I stayed at Bay Lake, I believe, if I remember correctly, that the furniture in there was like black at one point. I don't know if I could be misremembering this because this was like 8 years ago, but the furniture was beat up, and it was a new resort at this point.
Yep.
It was like a brand new resort, but the furniture was already kind of beat up, and I think it's just because it was like a dark color or something, and it was easy to see any scratches on it.
That black coffee table. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It was like a circular, like an oval shaped coffee table that I think was black, and you would see every nick, any sort of paint that got taken out. I know because Bay Lake got a lot of feedback about the furniture in there, that it was literally, you're exactly right. Like right after it opened, it was like, when are they rehabbing these rooms? It just opened.
Yeah, it was like, I think I stayed in there like 2 years after it opened, maybe, and it was like, wow, some of the stuff's beat up a little bit already. But I to your point, Derek, I just stayed in Saratoga at the refurbished room, and we loved it. We thought it was great. Though this is funny, you were saying how everybody loved it. So my brother-in-law's parents stay at Saratoga constantly. Like they'll stay there for like a month at a time. Like they have a lot of points. And I was asking, I was like, "Oh, how do you like the Saratoga refurb?" And he gave me a look. Because they stay there for so long, they felt like some of the storage got removed, and they missed having the little table to eat at, and so for them it wasn't their favorite thing in the world, but for us, we loved it. We thought it was great. So
yeah, right. No. One day there will be a DVC resort that every single human being loves.
Not possible. Not possible.
Not possible.
There's never been a change in the history of Disney that everyone has liked ever.
No, so true.
It's not possible. I'm convinced it's not possible. They could make a change where when you walk through the hotel doors, they handed you $100 bill, and there'd be somebody who'd be like, but why are they giving me cash? Right.
It's just one bill. I mean, it'd be better if it was like 520s.
Exactly.
I'm still going to the Poly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. So all right, so we're getting into the Dan ridiculous questions, because Dan always likes to ask funny questions. So
yay.
Dan wants to know last time his question, I believe, was the proper way to load a dishwasher, and we had a very spirited conversation about that.
This thing went on for like 25 minutes
really
talking about that.
Like half the podcast.
Sorry, I missed that.
You can go back and listen to the last. I don't remember what episode number it was, but it was quite a conversation. But Dan wants to know if you had out-of-town guests that they liked and that you liked and wanted to put them in a DVC studio, what would you choose? Same questions for visitors you don't like. Yeah.
I mean, you guys can answer, because I'm going to go. I would always put up, if somebody's from out of town, I throw them into a Polynesian studio in a heartbeat, because that, to me, there's no resort that exemplifies the magic of Disney than when you're by there and you're out back and by the pool and you look across and see the Grand and you see Cinderella Castle like right there as you're like floating in the pool. It's everything that people think of when they think of Walt Disney World, because again, some people don't know, and so they think Walt Disney World is the Magic Kingdom. So when they think of Disney World, that to me, I'd throw them into a Poly studio.
Trevor is loudly clapping all the way from Canada for this.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I remember the first time we walked in there. I know exactly what you're talking about, Derek.
There's nothing like it. Like, to me, it's just because, again, we live close by. So I love being able to, just you're having a beer and you're by the pool and you just look over there and you see the contemporary, and then you see, and then at night with the fireworks and the pump and the music and families laying on hammocks, it's just such a personification of just anything Disney that I think if I was going to put somebody that I didn't like, where am I going to throw them into? Well, certainly a room with no vacuum cleaner.
see, my answer for this, I say I want to go Wilderness Lodge on this, because I feel like you can just sit in the lobby of Wilderness Lodge and watch people walk in for the first time and just look up, and you can see on their mouth them just go, wow. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it's got that wow factor when you walk in. Now, given not like Disney, right? Like, it's not like the wow factor is not necessarily Disney there. It's more of like, whoa, look at this place. This place is nuts, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, that, I don't know. I think that's, I mean, I'm okay with Polly. I agree with you to that extent of, you know, where you're located and looking over to Magic Kingdom and all that. But I think you can get that at Bay Lake though, too, being that close, you know, at Bay Lake, you know?
Yeah, but Bay Lake is just cold to me. So I don't want to go off on a cold.
Ooh. Okay. We found out Derek hates Bay. Okay, say for the people you don't like, you put them up at Bay Lake.
Put them up at Bay Lake with the busted furniture.
I was actually going to say, you know, it does depend, because like you portrayed this great Disney moment, but also at the Poly, you're getting an experience where you don't feel like you're at home. You have transported yourself into a whole new place. Bay Lake Tower, being more contemporary in style and things like that, you know, it could feel a little bit more like you just went somewhere that, you know, a friend's house or something like that. You're not transported into a whole new world per se. So views and experience and walking to Magic Kingdom and things like that is great. But the Poly, I agree with Derek.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I mean, that's fair. Okay. Well, so then what's the one you send them to for the people that you don't like?
I had an answer for a resort, but it's not a DVC resort.
You're gonna go Caribbean Beach, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. You knew where I was going.
I knew you were going immediately. I knew. Yeah.
Caribbean Beach. You know, it's not. I will say it's not a terrible resort, but I had, you know, that was right after the hurricane, and it wasn't a great experience. So I have bad memories of that resort. So that would be the place I would be like, yeah, go there if you don't want to have a good time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We lost Derek for a second. Now he seems to be back. I don't know. Is that you, Derek? No?
I can see him, but yeah.
All right. That's kind of weird.
All right.
Yeah. Sandra, you're on your own.
Great. Now we're getting to the experience ones, and Derek's got all the fun stories.
Oh, no. Well, these are... These next questions though are like easy ones though. So like this, you know, I guess we can even answer some of these, but I don't know about the you know, buyback part. But Dan also wanted to know top 3 date night spots at Disney Springs. I don't know. I don't know anything for those. I'm trying to think. I mean, Homecoming is great, but I mean, Damon, you ate at what do you call it? Morimoto, right?
No, I've actually never eaten inside.
Oh, you did the outside. You did like yeah.
I do the street food. Yeah, I've been at Homecoming a lot though.
Homecoming's good.
Yeah, I mean it's Southern food though, and we live in the South, so it's okay.
There's that. Yeah, that is true.
I feel like wherever you live in the country, I mean, you kind of want to try different things. Yeah. But I mean, date night at Disney Springs. Like date night with somebody you're married to, or date night like first date night, right? Because I think it changes my thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know this is a Dan question. He's making me think too hard for something I don't necessarily care that much about. I'm married. Sorry. Yeah, I don't care. Go wherever the kids decide to go. That's where we'd go. We don't do date nights.
Oh.
Derek's hand is up.
Derek's raising his hand, but
we can see you, Derek.
We can't hear you, Derek.
I don't know if you can hear us or not, but
I think Tom just didn't want to hear any more Derek. We have enough.
What? That's not true. I could never stop hearing from Derek.
Maybe it'll resolve itself, but
bye, Derek.
I guess.
Listen, I it's getting way late for me, so
well, we can wrap this up. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
I got a bath with my name on it, so.
I think Derek's back again. I'm not sure.
Now can you hear me?
There we
look,
go.
he's back.
Oh, right. This thing keeps kicking me out. I'm so sorry. It threw me out, so I logged back out. I thought Maybe someone that doesn't like me talking smack
it was
about
Tom.
Yeah,
he's the only one that could do that to you. Just remember that. Trevor and myself don't have that power.
Oh my god!
Some of the Bay Lake Tower fans got all angry and cut my microphone.
That was Tom. He doesn't he own there?
Yeah, Tom owns there.
I mean, all signs point to Tom.
My least favorite resort. My least favorite resort that I have. So I regret buying there. I regret
us at the Poly, we respect you, Derek.
Thank you. I apologize for that. Hopefully you can make some magic there in post.
Always can make some magic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. So we got to ask the question of top 3 date night spots at Disney Springs from Dan again, Derek.
Oh, that's a good question. So it has to be at Disney Springs.
I mean, yes. That's the question. So, I mean, are you thinking? I'm okay with you talking about other resorts, but I know Damon's a stickler for the rules here, so
I'm not
say no to that.
I'm not going to defy Dan. No, I'm going to stick with Disney Springs, and I'm going to say first and foremost, you have to sit in the outside bar at the boathouse. So the one bar that's outside, not inside. Sit outside in that bar area. Perfect, fantastic. Then you have Morimoto Asia, which is terrific to go to as well. And then I would also pick Art Smith's Homecoming. Those
all right.
three.
We got two of those. we picked Homecoming and Morimoto. So we got 2. That's great.
Yeah, you gotta sit in that bar area that's outside. It's the best. Like it's just you're right on the water. You watch those little overpriced amphibious cars go in and out, and you fake wave at everybody, and yeah, it's such a great bar.
I've always wanted to. Go ahead, sorry, Sandra.
I was just gonna say I've actually stayed out there or had drinks out there too, and it's really neat atmosphere, and it was a really good experience. I was with a group of people, which made it very difficult because you're kind of spread out. So being date night, that would be perfect because if I remember right, it's just kind of like on the outside of the whole deck, you have seating and stuff. So if you just kind of find a little corner or a little niche or something, it'd be a great opportunity to just have that. And yeah, you've got those old fashioned cars going out and all the stuff happening around you. It is a neat little corner, a little hidden gem to some people, but I agree. You have to be on the outside.
And then if the date's not going well, you got plenty of room to quote unquote spread out, right?
There you go.
Where'd you go? I don't know.
Just lose her real quick.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Can you do a quick right of first refusal report for us, Derek? Like, what are they buying back the most right now?
Yeah, so basically I'll make this real fast. They're buying back based out of all the resorts that Disney has bought back this year. They are honestly buying back 3 resorts, right? They are buying back. If you're looking to buy Old Key West, just know that, cross your fingers and cross your toes because they're up to, I think it's almost like 40% of Old Key West contracts are they buying back this year. They're also buying back Saratoga. So just know that out of every contract that they're buying back, 81% of all contracts that are bought back are 3 resorts: Old Key West, Saratoga, and Bay Lake Tower, and Animal Kingdom. So 4. So those resorts, those 4 of them, total 81% of all contracts that are bought back. So we always have a great, blog on our site that you can go to so you can see, hey, are there any resorts that Disney did not buy back? So we'll share that news with you as well. We'll show you exactly how many contracts were sold for each resort, right? So if I'm looking to say, okay, how many did they buy back of Old Key West this year? So we sold 326 just Old Key West contracts, and they bought back 112. So you're looking at almost 35% of contracts that they've bought back. So we break it out for you because it always helps for folks to kind of have an idea. And again, when you call up and talk to us too, say, hey, you know what do you think about this resort? Or what's a good price to offer on this resort or that resort? Nothing is ever 100% surefire bet because we can tell you the worst phone call and emails that we have to send are when people don't make it through that right of first refusal. We just have to reach out to them and say, I have some bad news. And, we walk them through the process and they almost always go ahead and try again. But, having some knowledge and some, a little bit of education on, hey, so what is the market right now? So just if you love Old Key West, again, they're not buying back everything. I mean, 65% of Old Key West contracts made it through. So there's a lot of new Old Key West owners, but there's 35% of those people got a bummy phone call from Derek or Marissa and had to try again. So yeah, check out the blog on the site.
All right. Well, I've got two more real quick questions, and then Trevor, I know you have a question you want to ask.
I wanted to ask so you already asked the incentives question, right?
I did, yes.
So I wanted to ask the blue card.
How do you feel about the blue card going away?
Yeah.
Not that you care as a resale person, but
well, it's funny because even when they announce, and Sandra can certainly talk about this as well with all the folks that, she talks to too, even with the news this week, right? That Disney announced they're not, they're halting all sales of new annual passes. So all of those people, and we stress to them and say, listen, if you're debating, buying direct, do not make those temporary perks and those temporary discounts, do not let that be part of your decision-making process. And we only say that is because when you buy direct, one of the last pages that you sign in that direct contract says, hey, just so you know, we can yank away and remove every single perk possible. So just so you know, if you could just sign here by the Mickey ears, great. Okay, so you're aware. Just so people know, because they don't want people down the road. We've had people this year that bought resale points, and then they decided, hey, you know what? I want to buy 150 points because I want to take advantage of those new annual passes. And now they can't. So perks come and go. It's a shame to see that little blue card go because I still have mine. It's tattered and torn and beat up and you could barely read it. But there's something about having a physical blue card just to have in your wallet. So yeah, it certainly doesn't surprise me that I'm sure they found some kind of cost-cutting measure that they could save X amount of dollars by not sending out physical blue cards. But yeah.
There is something to pull on that card out and be like, DVC member.
We just need resale cards. We just need really cool, but not blue. Like maybe it's like a yellow card or something, even more stunning, or black card or something. Yeah.
I was going to say yellow's probably not good. That's like a soccer thing, right?
Talk to Nick.
Yellow card. Yeah, in soccer, that's not good. But yeah, we have the same conversation all the time because the amount of money you save between direct and resale, you end up getting your perks all back just over time. And plus there's other ways to get, I have so many people who talk about the discount, and, you can get a lot of the same discounts by just having a Disney credit card and things like that and stuff. So we are on the same page with Derek. Whenever we have this conversation with someone, we always say, it can be taken away. Actually, the amount you save, it just saves you money in the long run, and you end up getting ahead by going resale anyway.
Don't buy direct for a temporary 10% off of Wetzel's Pretzels. Don't.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know, Derek. That 15% I got off at Space 220 was worth quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In fact, I think I paid the whole bill, and everybody Venmo'd me so we could all get the discount. But okay, so I also want to know what you speculate the new DVC resort at Disneyland. What do you think that's going to go for direct? Because just as a guess, just crazy speculation here.
Oh boy, I'm probably leaning towards $950 per point. No, I probably.
Well, it's funny you say that, Derek, because we were when we talked about this last time. I think we were talking about it being $300 a point, maybe. Because this thing's going to be crazy in demand, right? I mean.
And it's funny because I always love to tell people the story that when I sold direct for Disney, nobody wanted to buy the Grand Californian. They paid vacation guides more money to sell the Grand Californian because nobody wanted to buy it. Everybody just said, I just want to buy Animal Kingdom or I want to buy Bay Lake Tower. Nobody wanted to buy the Grand Cal. That's why there's people out there still that bought 200-300 points. And with the discounts they had, they were getting it for $90-$85 a point. Now,
I wish I knew you back then.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It was crazy. So now it's kind of the best, worst kept secret, as everyone knows now the power of owning at Disneyland. Because again, Disney doesn't even sell Grand Cal. They might sometimes, but they're pricing it, I think, at $310 to buy the Grand Cal. My guess would be it's going to be somewhere. This is just my guess that if they've got Riviera for around $200 with some discounts, I would say probably $225, $240 with some pretty nice discounts. I think would be my guess, but then again, nothing surprises me. So,
well, I remember you said, I forget when you, I don't know if it was on the last time we talked to you, but you were talking about, I think, how when Grand Floridian was for sale, like you guys couldn't keep contract, like it was just, you were blowing through contracts, right? I'm wondering if the same thing's going to happen when the new building comes online, or if people are not as, interested in the Grand Floridian as they were before. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. It's always interesting because I love the Grand, and this is just a personal thing, but I don't think there's ever, and I don't think there ever will be, a more polarizing resort than the Grand Floridian. I just think it will always be one of those resorts that people either love, or they still to this day tell me and say, yeah, it's too fancy for me. We're not Grand Floridian people. That's just not our speed. It's, we're more casual, things like that. So the people that love the Grand love it, and they know how hard it can be to get into the Grand, because again, the Grand is the smallest resort at Walt Disney World, right? It's the smallest one, so it's not easy to get. So having that extra building with some additional studios will be very, very helpful for those people that love the Grand.
All right, Trevor, you want to do your question and then we'll wrap this thing up?
Yeah, so I want to ask, knowing that the new Disneyland hotel DVC rooms are being built in a couple of years, do you think that the Grand Californian contracts may go down in price as those come online? I'm thinking along the lines of, people possibly selling off Grand Cali for going to the new resort. Do you see anything like that happening?
Yeah, I mean, and Sandra could probably attest to this too. I mean, especially now that, we're able to finance contracts for the Grand Californian. Yeah, I do see it happening, just because I think you're always going to have some people, and we still to this day have people that, say own Old Key West, or they own the BoardWalk, and they turn around and sell it, not because they're unhappy with those resorts, but they turn around and sell it just because they want something with a longer deed that's attached to it. So they'll say, hey, you know what, even if I buy Animal Kingdom, that's, hey, that's, 15 more years than if I had something that was going to, run out in 2042. I think it will be very, very telling if a big part of that will be if there's going to be any resale restrictions on the new tower, meaning are they going to keep the exact same resale restrictions? Meaning if someone goes to sell that, will that new buyer only be able to use the points at the Disneyland Tower? I can tell you it probably wouldn't even matter, to be honest, because the people that buy the Grand Cal, even now, they're buying the Grand Cal because they only want to stay at the Grand Cal. They are not using these as network points to stay at different resorts. They're buying it for the Grand Cal. So even if they did, and hopefully they don't, if they have that restriction tied onto it, I still think there'll be a huge audience for people that say, I just want points to be able to get into a Disneyland DVC resort.
Right. I would be one of those people for sure. So, okay. No, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, those were exactly the 2 points that I was thinking. Just that extended contract, being able to own it longer, but also, depending on those restrictions and what that looks like, that's really going to be the tell, I think, whether you're going to give up your Grand Cal to go to the new one or, but yeah, most people that we experience who buy Grand Cal want to stay there. So those restrictions, depending on what they are, could play a part in it. And some of them, it might not matter because that's where they want to stay. So there's definitely a few factors out there that could determine, but that longer expiration date will be very tempting, I think, for a lot of people.
Right.
All right. Well, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. Is Derek and Sandra, I don't know if Sandra, if you want people reaching out to you directly, but Derek, do you want to give out your info? And Sandra, if you want people to reach out to you directly with questions, you can give out your info too. I just don't want to offer it up unless you want to. You got to be careful with our people. They might inundate you.
Yeah, absolutely. My email is Sandra, Sandra at monerafinancial.com. And they can also go to our website and reach out to us through the website and get one of our loan originators who are extremely more knowledgeable about any of this than I can be. I've been doing it for the longest, but yet they have learned so much more, especially by spending time with Derek and some of the other brokers at Resale Market. They've just expanded their knowledge in so much, and they will be able to answer any of your questions, but they can reach out to me directly at Sandra@MoneraFinancial.com anytime, and I'll do my best to either answer or pass the baton to one of our loan originators.
All right. Thank you. Derek, did we lose you again? I think we did.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well.
Or he's...
There it is. It did it again.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So if you have any questions whatsoever, please, of course, as always, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Again, I'm at the DVC Resale Market. My email is always probably the best way to go ahead and reach me. Pretty simple. Just Derek, DEREK, at DVCResaleMarket.com. And again, whether you have buying questions or selling questions or lamp questions, anything you need.
Dishwasher loading, anything you need help with.
Anything you need help with. Yeah. Feel free. And always, and please do this. So let me know that, you came from Welcome Home, just because we always love to know where our audience is coming from and where they're hearing us from. And you guys have always, over all these years, have such a tremendous and smart and educated audience that are just fantastic. And they're not only, clients of ours that have joined the club or helped us, sell their membership, but many, many, many times they've become friends. So we truly value each and every one of your audience members. So thank you guys again for such a great, great partnership.
I think they're smarter than we are.
I agree.
I think they're smarter than we are. So that's great to hear. Thanks, Sandra. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I just was agreeing with Derek. We're very excited to have this partnership for so long and everything. And so I would love to also know if this is where you heard about Monera, especially as we start really talking about all the options available and everything, and trying to convince, all the Damons out there that financing is not all that bad.
The Damons out there. You made it sound like an actual thing.
I think Damon might actually have an army at his disposal. We don't know for sure.
At any moment, Damon can sick his army on us. So yeah.
Yeah. I'll do my best to, be there for all the financing people.
I'm sure you'll get some questions for sure. So all right. Well, thank you guys again. If you could, just hang around for a few minutes here, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Let's wrap it up.
Of course, right. And I hope everybody has had a fantastic Thanksgiving Day. So happy holiday season.
Derek, go to Derek and Sandra. Go to Thanksgiving side. What's your favorite side?
Oh my God, stuffing! Are you kidding me? Stuffing.
What?
Yeah, stuffing.
Get out of here.
I'm a classic. I love mashed potatoes. I've been, my family, when I was a little kid, I remember my uncle just standing up at the table and saying, "Everybody get mashed potatoes before Sandra gets them." Because I've always loved mashed potatoes. So.
Oh, man. Mashed potatoes and gravy that's me too. I'm with you. So I get it, Derek. Everybody likes stuffing. So you're on the right side of this. And Trevor had Thanksgiving a month ago, so he's not even included in this.
Well, I mean, glad you guys finally caught up. And I'm team stuffing as well. So, I'm right there with you, Derek.
Canada's next level. They have their Thanksgiving in October. They're like, forget this close to Christmas thing. We're going to do it in October.
Yeah. And now Sandra is forever known as the mashed potato lady.
There you go.
Thanks.
Right.
Great.
Huh?
I like
you can have
potatoes.
Not a bad thing.
Can I change it?
Not a bad thing. We all have our things on the show, so that's your thing now. There you go. That's okay. I'm the mashed potato guy too. I'm with you. Mashed potatoes are the best.
No shame. Mashed potatoes are awesome.
All right, Trevor. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Are really good too.
What was that? What was that, Derek?
Mashed potatoes and stuffing together are really, really good.
Oh, no, you mix your stuff together. No, can't mix.
Yes,
things need to stay separate.
See why I need a vacuum cleaner for my room?
With the exception of I'll allow taking the turkey and putting some mashed potatoes on it, eating that all in one mouthful. I'm up for that.
Oh. Jeremy's already going crazy with the pictures.
I'm going to let you guys battle this out over the weekend, but
yeah. Well, Trevor's going to be like, yeah, whatever. I already did this holiday. It's already done.
I'm finishing my Christmas shopping at this point, so.
All right. For real this time, let's wrap up. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So, as usual, if you guys ever want to get a hold of us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting questions from you guys. We get great trip reports, all that stuff. Keep it coming. It's always the best way to reach us. If you are on social media, you can always follow us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. Check out the Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist as well. You can talk to us in there. You can talk to some of our other listeners. It's a really great community. You can also find Derek in there. Like he said, if you want to poke him for something in the group. And you can always follow us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. Every time we go to the parks, you can check out what we're doing on Instagram. And when we do live shows, you can see those after the fact on YouTube. We always post the live shows on there, so you can see it if you happen to miss it. And if you're interested in some merchandise, make sure you go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. You can check out the mugs, the tumblers, all kinds of cool stuff that has the Welcome Home Podcast logo on it. And if you want something a little different, go over and check out patreon.com/welcomehomepod. We actually have some exclusive merchandise on Patreon for our supporters there. And it also gets you access to the Discord server if you want to have a more intimate conversation with us and see some of the shenanigans that go on Discord. And
if you're on the Discord, you would know that Damon left the podcast to go take a bath.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Damon's been on the Discord talking about how excited he was about this episode too. So
and taking a bath.
Yeah, exactly. And as usual, if you guys want to leave us a review on iTunes or any other service that you're using to listen to us that does let you leave reviews, we appreciate it. Obviously, 5 stars are the best. If you can leave us a 5 stars, that's great. If not, we do appreciate the constructive criticism and hearing you guys just give us feedback. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, any podcast app out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that says Disney DVC. That's us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative, a Disney cast member, Derek, Sandra, anybody about for more information about anything we talked about today. A huge thank you again to DVC Resale and Monera and Derek and Sandra for coming on the show today and spending the time talking to us. We really, really appreciate it. So please go talk to them. And if you're going to buy a new contract, you're going to sell your contract, if you need to finance it, you know where to go. All right. Just go to Derek, go to Sandra, go to Monera and DVC Resale. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.